Hi, I'm David Council from Inferno Marketing and Design, and welcome to another Insider Marketing Update. Now, in a moment, we're going to talk about what you're doing with social media. But before we do that, I'd just like to remind you about my podcast. It's called David versus David. I do it each week with my mate David Pritchard in the United Kingdom, and we talk about all things for small to medium business, from making a profit to getting your marketing right. You can find it in the iTunes store. Just look for David versus David. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, if you know someone who could use some help with their advertising and marketing, I'd love to have a chat with them. So put them in touch with us or us in touch with them, and we will have a free, no obligation chat about advertising and marketing. And we'll also send you a bottle of wine just to say thanks very much for thinking about us. Okay, so what are you doing with your social media? There's a couple of steps that you really need to make sure you're doing and getting right. The first one is, who's actually writing it? Now, once upon a time, you would have said, well, we give it to the youngest person because they're hip and groovy and they're onto all of this marketing sort of stuff when it comes to social media. It's not actually a very good idea. What you should be doing is getting someone who understands your business to write that marketing message so that it's not glib or flip, it's focused and talking to the right people about what you want them to know about. So really important, don't just give it to someone junior in the business, give it to someone who's actually a bit senior. In fact, it's better to get them training on social media so that they get it right. Or for that matter, you could get someone like us to write it for you. We post for lots and lots of businesses because it helps them get their marketing message focused with a common voice right on the money. The second thing to consider is, when are you releasing your message? Now, this is really an age-old problem. Lots of people ask me, what time should I release it? When should I do it? And it's different for every business. It's about what are your customers doing at the time on social media? Do they sit on the couch after dinner and check social media out? Do they do it first thing in the morning? They're two actually very common times for people to be using social media. Do they check it during the day? Are they likely to have it open on their desktop while they're working? These are all things that you need to consider about when and what your customer is doing when that social media message comes out. So I strongly urge you to test and measure. But most of all, you've got to know who your customer is. So don't set it up and try and be all things to all people. Have a focused message to talk to a particular person, which actually leads me to the third point. What social media are you using? Because there's different strengths in different social media. Honestly, there are so many of them these days. Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn. Look, the list goes on and on. So you've got to make sure you're putting the right message for the right people into the right social media format. I know that seems like a lot of extra work, but it really will pay off. If you're looking to do business-to-business communication, LinkedIn is fantastic. If you're looking to do business-to-customer, Facebook is terrific. Pinterest is terrific. But you've also then got to think about the type of message that you're putting out. Never just put out a message that is text only. Always try and get some sort of image in there, video or stills image. And that's important too. Make sure that your video or stills image is talking to what it is that you're trying to get across to the customer. Don't just use a stock image because it's easy. It's better to have an image that's not quite professional quality than it is to try and knock off some sort of stock image and just glide by. Now, something else you should consider is having a calendar for your social media marketing, because it's too easy for people to go, oh yeah, I'll get to that. No, I'll get to it tomorrow. Oh, look, I haven't done it today, but I really will do it next week. Don't let this sort of thing slide. Have a calendar and do all of your social media posting in one go. Whether you realize it or not, you can actually time delay posts in most social media so that it goes out at a different time. So you can sit down in a concentrated effort and get all of the information set up, ready, scheduled to go, and then have the computer send it out when you want it to go out. You've also got to think about what products are you talking about, what categories, so that the right mediums are being used for the right products and categories. Really very important. You should also make sure that you've got a mixture between promotion and relationship. After all, no one wants to be bombarded with message after message after message. It's, that's old school. You need to have relationship messages going out. Foster that relationship with your customer. Cuddle them, hold them in, so that next time they need a product that you've got, they will come to you because you're more than just a place where they buy that product from. You're a source of information. You're their mate. You have a relationship with them. And make sure that the messages that you're putting out are consistently formatted. So your pictures are always treated one way. Your text is always written one way. That you're getting the message out in a nice, consistent way that says who you are. After all, you've got corporate colours for your business. You would have a corporate presentation. Don't just let that slide because you're using social media. And the final thing to consider is stay true to who you are. One of the things I learned when I was doing radio was that you can't bung it on. You can't pretend to be someone that you're actually not. Because if you do that, as soon as something goes wrong, you will revert to who you are and people will spot it straight away. So don't bung it on. Make sure you've got a voice that is your voice, so that when you're talking to your customers, your community, you're nurturing a relationship that is who you really are. So that when they're in trouble, when you're under stress, when the bushfires are raging, you're going to communicate with them exactly the way that you really are. And that will actually hold people to your business more and more. Okay, so there's fantastic tips for you on what you should be doing when it comes to using social media. If you've got any questions, if any of that didn't make sense, if any of that actually generated more questions for you, then please give me a call. I'd love to have a chat with you about it and point you in the right direction. Until I hear from you, my name's David Council from Inferno Marketing and Design, and I look forward to talking to you about you or your business in the very near future.